My name's Ben. I'm a certified interpretive guide with St. Charles County Parks. And what you just saw me doing is called blacksmithing. Blacksmithing was a trade on the frontier that involves shaping iron and steel using a hot coal fire, a hammer, and an anvil. We'll talk about those in just a second. Blacksmiths were a very versatile and adaptable trade, and it was actually something you would find in the Boone family. Daniel Boone himself was a blacksmith, and when he was living out here in Missouri, he had a shop on the property. His son Nathan tells us that Daniel would use that shop to fix his traps and his rifle barrels, and he was actually trained as a blacksmith by his father. Now, blacksmiths made anything that was iron and steel, whether it was a home item like a fire poker or a piece of cooking ware. They made tools like hammers, axes, and knives. You could be a farrier, somebody who made horseshoes. You could be an armorer, somebody who made knives and equipment for the military. They were an extremely adaptable, versatile trade. Now, they started with just some very basic tools, very basic pieces of equipment. And to start, you would have this forge over here. This is what you saw me pull the steel out of. And this forge, this fire is burning coal. Now, fire needs oxygen. And so what they have is what's called a bellows. Now, these are a hand crank bellows. These are something that you would have started seeing probably around the late 19th century after the Industrial Revolution. The people like the Boones would have been using bellows that look like the ones you can buy in a hardware store for your fireplace today. And so these bellows push oxygen into the fire, and that gets the steel to a nice glowing orange color. And with steel like this, that can be upwards of 2,000 degrees. And once they pull it out of the fire, the most important and probably most iconic pieces in a blacksmith's forge are his hammer. Now, this might look a little different from what you expect. Blacksmithing is all about shaping. It's like working with Play-Doh or with dough. It's all about shaping once that metal gets hot. You have a flat end for squaring and flattening the steel, and then you have this. This is called a cross peen. This is used for spreading the material very rapidly. The other piece of equipment is the anvil. The anvil is like a hammer that doesn't move. This is called an English style anvil. It's got a flat section here that's used for squaring or tapering the metal, and then you have a horn that you saw me use for bending. Now, the anvils were made out of cast iron, and that gives it, first off, a very distinctive ringing sound. And then the other thing you'll notice is that it will actually bounce my hammer. Let's watch this. And what that does is that helps keep the momentum going when you're working on the anvil. Now, blacksmiths, like we said, they start with just a very small number of tools. A hammer, maybe some tongs, a forge, and some bellows, and an anvil. But if they needed another tool, they needed something for shaping the metal specifically, for cutting or bending the steel, they would make it themselves. They were an extremely adaptable trade on the frontier. Thank you so much for watching us today.